How is everyone doing today? How was your weekend so far? Good morning to those they join us just now from YouTube Live, and from those they are connected through Zoom. It's nice to see you guys here. It's Monday morning, beginning of the week. We are in the second week of this calendar month, so we expect to see some interesting moves in the market. We're going to go through the charts and do some analysis. Hello, Sherry. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Theo. Is it divergence on Australian dollar, Canadian dollar daily? If yes, can we consider a trend change? Thank you. Sherry, you mentioned something which many traders they ask about divergence, and guys, really I would like to go through and explain you today, because that's very, very important subject to understand when you are using divergence. Surav, good morning, Theo and fellow traders. Theo, for double top and double bottom, is it mandatory to have a regular divergence on RSI? Okay. We will talk about that as well, about divergence on any indicators in general when we have double top and double bottom formation. Good morning, Shivam. Good morning, Neville. Good morning, Still Alive. You had a great weekend. How was yours? Yeah, mine was very nice too. Heart Moon, good morning and have a good week. Okay, so let's start with the news and the major headlines. Let me just change a bit the charts, but before we start, guys, let me share the other screen. Okay, guys, before we start, please make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel, on the Instagram, and on the Telegram. I'm sending the links again for those you haven't subscribed yet. This is the Admirals Global YouTube channel. And if you scroll down and you go here where it says Trading Spotlights, you can find the webinar I was mentioned about the other day, Best Trading Patterns. And the reason many traders, unfortunately, they are losing more than what they are winning. So please give yourself some time to watch this webinar. Also, there are other webinars from Paul and Jens. Jens had an interesting webinar last Friday. I'm expecting to see it coming up today, and it's a good about psychology. So you can watch that as well. These were the fresh ones. Then Instagram, you find Admirals Global. Please press the follow button. You're going to receive also notifications when we post the reels. I do the reels every single week, so you're also going to have an update about the markets. And the Telegram, of course, whenever we are going live, please, you're going to receive the notification so you never forget. And as I mentioned, we are getting ready to start these webinars on a daily basis, 5 days a week consistently, and it's going to help you guys much more with your trading. So as usual, you can go to Admirals website. You go here where it says analytics, Forex calendar. You're gonna come up on this area. Then you can choose your time zone and the preferable dates you want to read the major news events. From the filter area, I always keep the 3 red line, the most important news. But if you are trading on intraday basis and on the short time frames, like 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 13 minutes charts, it's must to know the time of all the events coming out so you don't get caught in any volatile or sudden movement. I see a few people, they join now. Good morning, guys. Welcome. So, guys, for today, Monday, the 8th of August, we don't have any major news events. So we expect to see the markets just continuing the way they were continuing with the ranges they used to, with the price ranger, actually, they are used to move. And tomorrow, because we're not going to have live tomorrow morning, we're going to have on Wednesday. You're going to keep an eye on the Australian dollar. For those you are in the European and USA, let's say, time zone areas, you're going to just see the result when you wake up in the morning. So we expect Westpac consumer confident to see the number of the change index, of course, and then the National Bank, the NAB business conference. Then on Wednesday, we expect to see China's inflation rate to see if they're gonna increase based on the forecast. And then later on, we expect to see the number of the inflation rate in the USA, and it's going to be a surprise to see the 9.1% drop down to 8.7%. So we keep an eye on that. It will be the first decline in the inflation rate. On Thursday, PPI 1.1% to 0.3%, and on Friday, some focus to the Great British Pound from the UK. This time we have growth rate from 8% to 2.8%. Some not very positive news forecasting. This is just a forecast yet. Okay, so we will just see how the markets they will react. And then, as usual, if you go to analytics, premium analytics, and you do a login, you're going to come up to this page here. So I go to morning briefing to have a look at the today's headlines to understand what's going on in the markets. And usually on Mondays we have more events considerably than the other days because they including also some major events from the weekend. So let's have a look at the headlines. Senate passes Democrats' climate, healthcare, and tax bill. That's for the United States. Fed's Michelle says large interest rate rises could continue. For us as traders, it's worth to read this topic. A Federal Reserve official said the U.S. Central Bank could follow two consecutive 0.75 percentage point rate rises this summer, with a third such increase as its meeting next month. Fed Governor Michelle said she strongly supported the Fed's 0.75 percentage point rate increases last month, and similarly sized increases should be on the table until we see inflation decline in a consistent, meaningful, lasting way. So guys, you understand they want to keep increasing the rates until they will see the inflation meaningfully decline. So we will see until where they are willing to go, how far they are willing to go, and for how long. Then China's export growth stays unexpectedly robust, offsetting broader weakness. Iran, US closing on nuclear deal text, but hurdles remain. Investors praise for more market volatility as earning estimated slump. Then UPS Near's deal to buy Italian healthcare logistics provider Bomi Group, the Italy's Bomi Group. Explosions rock Ukraine's Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. This from Australia. Oz Minerals rejects BHP takeover proposal. Okay, we have some gold mining company, almost 8.4 billion Australian dollars, calling this approach highly opportunistic following a fall in copper prices. And the last one for today, Ben & Jerry's to take on owner in court hearing over Israeli business. So the most important for us guys to keep in mind, it's the Fed willingness to keep increasing the interest rates by 75 basis points at time. So we will see what will happen with these guys. Saying that, let's go through the charts. And first, I would like to start with your questions, okay, because they are really important. Australian Canadian dollar, hi, morning, yes. Also, I would like to Australian New Zealand dollar and plug the pivot point in order to see how interpret. Thank you. I only trade Australian Canadian dollar. Hello, Anonymous. That's totally fine. If you find yourself with success and with good trades, that's absolutely great. Australian Canadian dollar. It's an interesting pair. So let's start with the Aussie CAT, AUD CAT. It's somewhere here. Why I don't see it? AUD CAT, this one here. So the question was about on the daily double diverges Aussie CAT daily and can change the trend. Are you referring, Cherry? Are you referring about where I'm pointing now? This low point with this low point divergence? If yes, then the trend has already changed because we had this low point here. Give me just a sec. We had this low point here and this low point here with this high and this high in this downtrend, and then this high got bypassed. Okay, yeah, then this divergence here, they change, yes, the trend in the market. However, it's good for everyone to know. I think it's good to use a drawing tool at this stage. And I will show you what's this one here. So guys, here, when you plot an indicator, you can insert an indicator and you will see the divergence. It means the price making lower low and the indicator makes lower high. So this we call divergence, reversal divergence. Now, with the reversal divergence, the first thing we have to understand is that they do not change the trend. First thing, they change the phase of the market. If we are in an impulse phase like this one here, we expect to see retracement. And that's what divergence calls. They calls for retracements. But there is a strong, very strong probability that after we see the change in the phase, if the market is not going to keep moving in the predominant direction, we can see change in the trend. And we saw it at this point here, where the market make a higher high, and actually here make a higher high, and then it retested here this neckline, as we say, or the last swing in the market. So at this point, yes, they changed the trend, but please keep an eye. We first see change in the phase, which the impulse, it's going to become retracement. I hope it's clear from everyone, okay, because that's really important. Now, as for this occasion, that's another question: double top or double bottoms, is it mandatory to have a regular divergence? We have a double bottom here, but it's not mandatory to have divergence. Most of the times we do have divergence, but there are occasions we do not have, and that's fine. Okay, so let's move on. Euro US dollar weekly chart, we see that this lower low, it's still intact. The market is trying to make its way out of this area of this zone. So far we had an inside candle and then another inside candle, let's say, with a false break at the top. It looks bearish, but within this range here. If we go down to the daily chart, we will see that the market, it's still hovering around this sideways move, and we expect to soon see either break on the downside or break on the upside. Now, some people, they asked me in another webinar about, that was a quite long time ago, and I think some names, maybe it's here now, I don't remember who exactly asked, how does the fundamental approach implement to our chart analysis? Now we read that USA, they are willing to make a noticeable increase amount of basis points in interest rates. So if this is going to happen and the market, as we say, it's going to follow through that, we expect to see a strong US dollar. It means if the US dollar is going to become strong, it means the euro is going to become weaker against the US dollar. So we expect to see this market pushing to the downside. And where is the validity from the technical point of view? It's that we are in a downtrend. So you are in a downtrend and you have fundamental bearish. So on the 4-hour chart, we can just looking mostly for shorts. That's how I see the market. But from the overall point of view, we are still within this range and within this sideways, better not range. It's a sideways chopping around. So I will be waiting to see a clear break, as I told you a few weeks ago. Move on, pound US dollar. Remember, guys, we had this trend line after we saw this downtrend line to breaking. This is not valid anymore. Then we draw this trend line to the upside. We had 2 touches, so we could draw the trend line, and then we have 1, 2, 3 touches here. So we took advantages of some buy opportunities in the market on the lower time frames. But now, 2 days in a row, this trend line has been penetrated and the close are below the trend line. So that's not a valid trend line either. What do we see on the daily chart? Pretty much uncertainty, as this market, it makes a lower low. That was the high. The market is trying to decide what it's going to do here. Now, we are still in a downtrend, but with not a trend line in place. So a best area to wait, at least for price to come before we start short, it could be this one here where we have marked earlier. Then New Zealand US dollar, same scenario. All of the majors, Euro USD, Pound USD, New Zealand, Australian, and so forth, all of them, if you see the weekly charts, they got reverse and they stopped the buying pressure, at least temporarily. So it's like the downtrends resume. Now, this trend line also has been broken with more than two closes below, so it's not a valid up trend line. We delete it and we can start looking for some short plays. However, we have this support here to be mindful of and not rush to sell on the support. We can wait for a close below, or if you find an opportunity where it gives you a good reward to risk, then you can take some trades if you want. Then US dollar, Japanese yen. On the weekly chart here, we have this uptrend, higher high and higher low. Weekly, we had this reversal, so it means buyers, they stepped in. So on the 4-hour chart, we have this higher high, which we can start looking for buying opportunities. If you are using trend lines like me or channels, then you can have this channel here. I will be waiting for the market to come somewhere at this area to retest the last swing high. Now we have this higher high. If the market comes here, I have few areas of confluence. We have a fib level. Sorry, it's this one here. That's the move to the upside. So we have this last swing here, matches with approximately the 50% fib level, which that's what I'm looking for. And then we have this support, this trend line. So we have many factors of confluence, and that's awesome if the market comes there. So I'm bullish from this week. I'm bullish on the US dollar in all the pairs here. We had last Friday again this bullish engulfing. We talked about that. We are on the USD-CHF. Remember, guys, we mentioned about this support, and I clearly told you, yes, we are in a downtrend, but we have lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows, but we do not want to sell on the support because we don't know how many buy opportunities they are sitting here. And we had this bullish engulfing, strong close. The next trading day we had, because I think that was Friday, or the next trading day, we had this retest on the lower time frame this week here. It means the market pushed back for a little bit, and then the market start making higher highs. Now we have this bullish engulfing, which we can see the market come and retest these areas here. So let's just move this away. Now this trend line, it's not valid because it has been broken with more than 2 days in a row. And we can keep an eye on this resistance. That's a resistance area. A question about New Zealand. We see Australian, Canadian, New Zealand, Aussie, New Zealand was. What did you ask me, guys? Yeah, AUD, New Zealand. So, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, very choppy upwards move here. However, we can put our resistance area at this point. You see, guys, why it's worth going back a little bit on time and trying to find some support and resistance on the weekly chart, because this point here since 2018, it's kind of retesting recently, and it can act as a major resistance in the market. So we have this resistance here. we have this support. However, you can see that this market doesn't make a clear move to give a clear direction. It's just moving a kind of sideways within this large range, let's say range base. So on the daily charts, we can see that this market is just moving within this range. However, if you are trading, especially and if you are using Bollinger Bands, as that webinar I created some time ago, we see that on the range markets, the Bollinger Bands, they show some kind of flatness at the upper and bottom level, and we said a strong price action around resistance confirmed by Bollinger Bands. It's a good tradable opportunity. Cherry, I will answer your question. How do I copy an object on the chart trend line? Once you select it, for example, this is selected here because we can see this mark. If you press Control on your keyboard and you take and you drag the line, it's copied. Okay, that's how I copy it, with the Control keyboard button. So this market here, we see that it just came from resistance, so we have to be careful if we're going to still buying. But it's in this short-term trend, it's an uptrend, a short-term term, because a long-term trend, it's not an uptrend, it's sideways. So we have these higher highs. For those who are buying it, we have on the 4-hour another higher high. So any pullback can be considered as a buying opportunity for this market here. Let's have a look at the DAX for those who are trading the DAX. On the weekly chart, we still have these higher highs. Remember, guys, I marked you this gap here, and we said that can act as a strong resistance in the market, at least temporarily, which we saw last week, this rejection. But we are still on the daily chart, we are making higher highs and higher lows. So be careful if you haven't initiated positions. Yes, just be careful around this gap. Maybe can bring some sell orders in the market. Who knows? Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Consistently, the bears looks like they are not in control. We had 1, 2, 3. That's the 4th days we close higher. So still bullish on this market. We had some kind of inverse head and shoulders. If you watched my webinar, the last webinar about the reversal patterns, this is an inverse head and shoulder patterns on the 4-hour chart, and it's a major reversal. So we have this head, we have this left shoulder, and here it's the right shoulder, and we have this neckline here. So we had a broke above, so we can see the market just pushing to the upside. But we don't know what is going to happen around this area here. So there it's fairly good amount of space for this market. Then let's go to Euro JPY. I know there are a few people that are trading this pair, and it's something I trade intensively lately because of this nice downtrend here. On the weekly chart, we have this. Let's just get rid of this. Sorry, guys, for a sec. So on the weekly chart, we said we had this high in the market, which it matched with this rejection and this rejection. And we saw that the buyers stepped in and they pushed the price higher with this massive, massive bullish pin bar. So it shows buying pressure in the market. Then on the daily chart, we don't have any clarity because we still have lower lows, but because weekly chart confirm the price action that buyers can be in control now, we can go down to the 4-hour chart. We have this higher high in the market. We can draw our trend line or our moving averages. We have some levels of confluence here, which if the price can come and show us a reversal pattern, then definitely we can start looking for buying opportunities. And that's because, understand this, yes, the daily it's making lower highs and lower lows, but the weekly, it shows strong buying pressure in the market with a confirmed price action. So we can take advantage of that. That's how we traded 2 weeks ago, this bearish pin bar on the weekly chart, and we went down to the daily chart, and we saw that this pin bar here, and we took advantage of this market. Then let's have a look at pound JPY. Similar, we have, okay, this is not relevant for now. Buyers, they stepped in at this point, although not very strong, because ideally we don't want to see massive rejection on the top of this pin bar. It means that sellers, they start selling this market. However, the Japanese yen looks weak across the border. So here on the daily chart, we don't have any clarity. So on the 4-hour chart, when we take out this high, when this high is going to be taken out, we can use this area as a possible area for retracement before we initiate longs. Now, at this point, because we didn't make higher highs, if you see, guys, the euro yen on the 4-hour chart, we made clear higher highs. But on the pound yen, we didn't make higher highs on the 4-hour chart. So it's a lower probability setup, this one. So I would prefer to keep an eye on the euro yen if I want to buy this one. Okay. I think we cover most of the important pairs for today. I stretched it a little bit, 3 minutes. So last question from the Zoom participants, which they didn't ask any questions today in terms of any currency pair. So let's have a look here regarding interest rates, expected heights, and the following chart moves this time, both when US high gap, pound rose instead of the theoretical drop. Equally, when pound interest rates, pound drop instead of a climb. Quite funny. Yeah, that's right, Shivan. Theo, you ever suggest taking options on Forex future, a more leverage play when there is a high probability? I don't mix the options with the Forex futures. I just stay consistent in my approach, Shivan. I do my analysis the way I show you, my entries the way I show you. I do this for years and years. And guys, trust me, success is coming with consistency. It doesn't come with trying new things. I understand when I first started, like you, I wanted to try new things, but at the end, take my experience on that, and good results come with consistency. And the US index, the last one, let's see if we have it here. Let's go to indexes. Germany, sorry. I do not see the index here. And guys, really, I don't want to delay you more. Here. No. Okay, sorry for that. I just don't find the index here, and I don't want to delay you more, guys. And Sherry, about the US dollar index, of course, it's going to show, if we take this as an example, and the pound and the New Zealand, we're going to see that the US dollar index, it's doing a move something like that and consolidating at this point, because we have this consolidation and on pound and on New Zealand, we have that consolidation. So the major on the US index, it's an uptrend. Okay, guys, saying that, again, it was a pleasure to have this session with you today. Please make sure you manage your risk accordingly. All right, don't caught yourself in any unexpected volatility with any news events tomorrow, for example. Depends what you want to trade. And I wish you happy trading and looking forward to see you on Wednesday the same time. Bye for now.